So I have to stand up for the recording. The reason that I'm standing here is that for those of you not present here, we're going to record it to YouTube and upload it. 이쪽으로? Okay. Oh, I see. All right, thank you for the welcome remarks by our Director General Ma. My name is Chang Ho Son. I'll be presenting about our MIKTA Young Leaders Program. First, I'll just go through briefly about what MIKTA is all about, and after that, we will touch upon the basic programs of MIKTA Young Leaders Camp. So I'll just begin right away. All right, so history of MIKTA, we began back in year 2013. We began during the UN General Assembly, where foreign ministers of 5 countries got together and formed a group called MIKTA. Through its 5 years program, we have seen that these boxes represent all the accomplishment we have done so far, mostly about the meeting between the foreign ministers. So we had a meeting between the defense ministers, we had a meeting between trade ministers, National Assembly speakers, a lot of venue where the discussions and interactions have been taking place. So this is the basic 5 years of history that MIKTA has taken place so far. Essence of MIKTA basically stands for global good. You understand that 5 countries stand for good nations. We're not evil, we're not bad, we are market driven, we're democracy, where GDP level is anywhere between 10th and 20th place. We have a very vibrant economy. So we basically view ourselves as a good country, and in so forth, we try to build bridge builders. We become a networking where we strive for some creative solutions to many of the international issues that we have beforehand. So now you can see that we now just celebrate our 5th year anniversary. So the reason that we're now commencing our Young Leaders Camp today is to build upon our 5-year accomplishment and go for the further development in the future. We have a lot of groupings in the world. You can see that we have G7, we have BRICS, but MIKTA is okay compared to other groupings as well. $5.9 trillion, $21,881 in terms of per capita GDP. We have around 542 million population. So even compared to other groupings like BRICS or G7, we're not bad. And this is where our potential lies, and this is the potential where you guys can give more development in the future. So we look into the creative solutions to a lot of goals in what international is. We have our President Moon speaking at the UN General Assembly, again speaking about what we can do about the global peace and prosperity. So the basic layout of our modality in terms of agenda setting is that each year we have a chair country taking place. Each country takes every year, take turns in terms of running the MIKTA. This year is Indonesia. I appreciate our Indonesian colleagues for running good MIKTA program for year 2018. We have a lot of cooperation with other international bodies. You go anywhere in the world like Geneva, New York, Vienna, where all these international bodies are present. MIKTA are good friends. So whenever we have this all multilateral setting and all this international get together, our MIKTA will just gather together. We try to come up with very creative agenda, something good, so that we can look forward to having some goodness in this very vibrant and turbulent global area. So core agendas, I'm not so sure if you guys can see it. We have about 6 core agendas: health, gender equality, sustainable development, climate change, terrorism, regional issues. These are the major fields, but we go more detail into it. Accomplishments so far, see a lot of boxes here, but basically these represent all the general joint statement, joint communique, or joint actions that MIKTA has taken together in solidarity. For example, when there was a nuclear North Korean nuclear provocation, we stood together and condemned North Korea's action. When there was an Ebola outbreak back in 2014, we stood together and tried to give assistance to Ebola-stricken regions. We had the violent extremism taking place in the Middle East. Our Turkish friends are very committed to address it. Our MIKTA friends got together. So whenever our MIKTA friends are in need, in trouble, whenever there is something bad happening around the world, we get together and we try to bring our voices together. So again, we try to be a good countries. So working together as a MIKTA team, you can see our 2017 MIKTA Young Leaders Camp. I can see Director General Ma over there also. So we have a lot of fora where MIKTA trying to bond friendship and solidarity together. Young Leaders Camp is one of them. We have other venues like seminars, forum. We're going to have a MIKTA seminar at the end of this year, so I'd like to invite you also to come and listen to the seminar as well. And so this is basically what we have done so far. We have seen Mexico, Korea, Australia, Turkey, and Indonesia each taking turns and trying to give development and growth into our MIKTA system. So I've just given you what MIKTA is all about. So I will wrap up that, what MIKTA has to do. When it comes to Young Leaders Camp, I'm not so sure if there's a next slide to it. I think the packet has the basic programs for the next year's 3-day session. I'm just going to give you the most important part, which has to do with mock MIKTA Foreign Ministers meeting on the second day, in the morning of the second day, and in the afternoon there will be what I call cooperative project deliberation, where you guys will have to come up with some MIKTA project. The first one has to do with MIKTA Foreign Ministers meeting. Each and every one of you will be foreign minister for your representative country. You will make a presentation anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes about culture, education, or economy. I will give you more information through the email, but this basically has to do with you will have to make a small presentation amongst your colleagues sitting in each and every table. The seating right now will be the seating for the next 3 days next week. So I hope that you get to be good friends with one another. So for 3 days straight, you will be seated in this format. Those of you who are absent will also be seated. So I hope you guys can get a good networking and good friendship amongst yourselves. But in any way, when it comes to mock Foreign Ministers meeting, if you want to talk about culture, there are so many about culture you can talk about. Food, fashion, movie, dances, anything that you want to be, you want to tell your friends about your country. It can be culture thing, it can be education thing, it can be economy. Economy can be a little bit more technical, but you can talk about trade, you can talk about investment, you can talk about business if you want to go in that order. But I will leave it up to you guys to decide which topic you want to talk about and share with your colleagues on your each and every table. So this is the mock Foreign Ministers meeting. After that presentation is over, each table will be chaired by counselor from each MIKTA embassy station in Seoul. Those will be foreign diplomats who are very well versed for more than 15 years of experience. You'll be seated with the very experts of the diplomacy. That person will summarize what you have discussed for the 1 hour, and after the summarization is over, we'll make a presentation amongst all the tables so that each table will know about what other table has been speaking about. So that will wrap up the Foreign Ministers meeting in the morning. In the afternoon, based on the discussion that you have done in the morning, you will come up with some sort of a MIKTA project. For example, you can talk about MIKTA World Cup, where MIKTA soccer team will get together and form a kind of a tournament. Perhaps you can talk about MIKTA pop, there's a K-pop, so maybe you can come up with MIKTA pop, where the best of the singers from each country will come up and have a singer competition. This is just example. I want you guys to be really creative. I have my limit, I can just think about so many things. I hope you come up with really creative idea, and after discussion, brainstorming is done after 1 hour. Someone in each table will make a presentation about your creative idea and share amongst yourselves. Our foreign ministry will listen to it, and if it's really good idea, let me tell you, we're going to adopt it. And it will be really cool to have your idea adopted and reflected and implemented amongst our MIKTA governments. So come up with some creative idea on that afternoon. Really look forward to it. After entire session is over on the second day, I will ask you guys to prepare what we call agreed minute. Agreed minute is basically a diplomatic document that just summarizes what you have discussed on the second day on one page. Again, I will give you the basic format, and after the format is given to you, you'll be given that document to me on the third day in the morning. So I will have 5 documents, what I call agreed minutes, on the third day. I will summarize it and make it into 2018 YLC declaration, Young Leaders Camp declaration, that will be authored by all of you presented here, and which will reflect what you've discussed and the vision for Young Leaders Camp in the future. So this 2018 YLC declaration will be the initial first one. I look forward to 2019, 2020 onward, but you will be at the historic moment of setting the first year's 2018 YLC declaration. So that will wrap up the entire session of our Young Leaders Camp. So this completes my presentation about the Young Leaders Camp program. I look forward to your good contribution and good effort. So this will be a little intense. We have put in some recreation activity as well, so I'm not going to make it 100% just like some workshop, but then again, just wanted to give you a feel about what multilateral diplomacy is all about. I put in a lot of effort to it, I put in a lot of manpower to it, so making sure that you have good experience participating in this Young Leaders Camp. All right, so that will wrap up my presentation. Sean, should I have some maybe Q&A if there's someone who wants to ask questions about our Young Leaders Camp or MIKTA in general? Any questions? Otherwise, I will be giving you a handout about how the mock foreign ministers meeting will be presented through the internet documentation form. If there is no other queries, I will just finish my presentation and look forward to see you next week. Thank you.